Good morning. This is Rashad Mitchell coming to you live from my YouTube channel as I continue on my part series, The Week That Was, College Football's History and Review, the 1956 college football season. Now today, I will be concluding the 1956 college football season with Week 11, Week 12, then I'm going to go over the stats that took place during the 1956 season, and then I'm going to get into the bowl games that were played during the 1956 season, and then the Heisman Trophy, the All-American team, things of that nature, and put this 1956 college football season to rest. Then tomorrow I'll start the 1957 season. And it's overview and go over week one. So here we go. November 30th, November 29th, on a Thursday, because this is the week that was. This is week number 11, December 1st, 1956, but the game was played on November 29th, on a Thursday, where Texas A&M defeated Texas 34-21. Wrapping up as Southwest Conference crown, Aggies enjoyed their first win in Austin's Memorial Stadium since its construction in 1924. Key elements were Texas A&M halfback John David Crow's 27-yard touchdown run for early lead, quarterback Roddy Osborne's 2 touchdown runs, and fullback Jack Pardee's 85-yard kickoff return that set up another score. Quarterback Joe Clements hit in Bob Bryant with 2 touchdowns, but moribund Texas closed out its worst season ever. For Texas A&M coach Bear Bryant, it was his first undefeated team. Army and Navy matchup ended in a tie 7-7 in Philadelphia. Tie deflated both sides as Army was unable to mine its 237 yards to 132 yards of offense edge for win. The Navy Rear Admiral and Superintendent W.R. Smedberg felt compelled to reject Cotton Bowl bid. Cotton Bowl President Robert Collins said, "I'm on my way to Syracuse to present an invitation to Orangeman." But after school's first half, in which the middies end and defensive end Pete Jokanovich made 4th down, drive stopping tackle at the 20-yard line. Army quarterback defensive back Dave Berland stormed 29 yards on interception return to prepare fullback Bob Kayaski for 4-yard touchdown run with 3:57 into third quarter. Army season-long bugaboo, butterfingered ball handling propped up again midway through the fourth quarter, and Navy end defensive end John Canuch pounced on Borland's poor pitch out at the Army 27-yard line, but it was one of 5 lost fumbles by cadets. After 10 methodical middies plays, little fullback Dick Dagenpat plunged for a 1-yard touchdown. Halfback kicker Ned Oldham's conversion kick tied it midway in the fourth quarter. So the Black Knights' fine defensive effort kept Navy, which made only 5 first downs from advancing past the 39-yard line on its own power but once. Georgia Tech beat Georgia 35-0. Past the Bulldogs entered the game with only 66 points in 9 games. Coach Wally Butt said he slept downstairs at all week because I thought I might jump out a window in my sleep. Those nifty assortment of defensive alignments made it tight game for first half, and Aiden calls for his 61-yard punt by end punter Ken Cooper. Starting slowly, engineers softened Georgia middle, then on back of fullback Dickie Madison. They staged 13-play, 86-yard march without throwing pass. The second quarter for 7-0 lead on halfback Paul Rotenberry's 8-yard run. Rotenberry's sped 53 yards to the Bulldogs' 19-yard line on first snap of second half. The quarterback Wade Mitchell soon scored for 14-0 lead. 3 touchdowns in the fourth quarter scored by Madison on a run. Halfback Stan Flowers on a short butt and 12-yard catch sealed Coach Bobby Dodd's 100th win at Georgia Tech and Gator Bowl bid. Auburn beat Alabama 34-7 in Birmingham. So after school's first quarter, Auburn launched its best offensive season. Plainsman went 54 yards in the second quarter as quarterback Hal Tubbs lofted perfect 40-yard pass to end Jimmy Red Phillips, who was dropped at 9-yard line by Crimson Tide defensive back George Salem, who had pursuit angle. Tubbs flipped 6-yard touchdown to end Jerry Elliott for 7-0 lead. Auburn went another 54 yards to Tubbs' 11-yard option touchdown run before Alabama knew what hit it. Fullback Don Kinderneck bobbled fumble on a soon kickoff, and the Tigers halfback Billy Kitchens fell on end zone fumble that was lost by Auburn quarterback Jimmy Cook after 11-yard run. Tide quarterback Bobby Smith quickly coughed up interception by Auburn fullback linebacker Billy Atkins to set up Elliott's second touchdown drive of second quarter. Ahead 34-0 in the third quarter. Tigers went with defensive subs, but returned starters in effort to blank driving Alabama. So however, Tide washed over Auburn as halfback Jim Lofton powered 8 yards off right tackle Jim Cunningham's block for third quarter touchdown. Miami beat Florida 20-7. The tip was dubbed Frustration Bowl because each team was just to sit out New Year's Day because of NCAA probation. So Miami jumped out to a 14-0 halftime lead on touchdown runs by quarterback Sam Skarnecchia and Don Bosler, who due to depletion of troops saw action at halfback. Bosler's first score came after the defensive tackle Gary Reeves' interception wobbly pass thrown as Florida quarterback Jimmy Dunn was clouded by defensive end Phil Bennett. Now Gators end Dan Helen halved margin with fourth quarter block punt by Canes end punter Jack Johnson. Scooped up ball at 20-yard line to sprint to touchdown, but Bosler, Hurricane best seized weapon, answered within 107 with 72-yard touchdown bolt off of left guard Bob Canillo's block. Bosler ran over Florida defensive back John Simak and carried defensive back Jim Roundtree on his back from Florida 5-yard line. It was Miami's fourth straight win in 18-game series. Missouri defeated Kansas 15-13. Retiring Missouri coach Don Farrat received odd going away gift. As Tigers quarterback Dave Doan hit in Larry Plum for 14-yard touchdown with 3:21, but guard kicker Charlie Rash missed kick left it tied at 13-13. With less than 2 minutes to go, Kansas lost gutsy fourth down gamble on its own 32-yard line, but appeared reprieve when quarterback defensive back Wally Strouch made end zone interception on Mizzou's subsequent series. So when Jayhawks took over on the 20-yard line, Strouch was sacked for minus 16 yards on first down. Then on a sweep run, Mizzou defensive tackle Chuck Murrow trapped ground-giving halfback Bobby Robinson in end zone for a highly rare game-winning safety. Delighted for Rock, creator of the split T offense, which was nearly universal in college football, was carried joyfully from the field with a career record of 101, 79, and 10. Texas Christian beat Southern Methodist 21-6. Upset-minded SMU trying to send coach Woody Woodard out as winner took 6-0 lead made possible by guard linebacker Tom Koenig, who enhanced his 16 tackles with 85-yard interception return to Horned Frogs 5-yard line of deflected pass tossed by TCU quarterback Chuck Curtis. Ponies halfback Charlie Jackson went off left side 4-yard touchdown. TCU clinched second place in Southwest Conference in Cotton Bowl bid as subs carried offense on a 70-yard drive late in the second quarter. Little halfback Carlos Blackshot took pitch out from quarterback Dick Finney, floated 10-yard touchdown pass to fullback Harold Pollard to take lead for good at 7-6. But David Muscle White, SMU's third-string quarterback, forced into action due to injuries to quarterback Charlie Arnold and Larry Glick, was working in his own territory near end of third quarter when he was whacked hard by Frogs defensive tackle Joe Robin lost fumble. TCU went 30 yards to touchdown. Curtis hit in O'Day Williams for 15-yard gain, then misdirected Mustangs right and kept left for a 7-yard touchdown run. Now the purple guard Vernon Euchre sacked SMU quarterback Billy Dunn and tackled defensive tackle John Boone, recovered at 29-yard line. Sloppy exchange of interception and fumble left TCU to count on second stringers. Quarterback Finney, halfback Virgil Miller to connect on 54-yard touchdown pass. Baylor beat Rice 46-13. Hungry Bears tasted sugar as they clinched bid to New Orleans Sugar Bowl. Outman Rice received its worst shellacking in 124 games. Senator Baylor defensive back Dale Schaffner scored twice, made fumble recovery, broke up important Owls pass, blocked extra point kick, and expertly covered punts and kickoffs to help Baylor cinch its best record since 1951. Rice stayed close to halftime, trailing only 20-13 as junior quarterbacks Frank Ryan and King Hill combined for 18 of 33, 227 yards passing. Owls passing did them in, as Bears picked off 4 interceptions. So fullback defensive back Charlie Dupree grabbed pass by Hill and went all the way 51 yards and 26-13 lead in the third quarter. Less than 3 minutes later, superb Baylor guard linebacker Bill Glass made one-handed interception and rumbled 44 yards to the 3-yard line. Sub-halfback Pharrell Fisher dove over and route was underway at 33-13. The Bears returned 4 interceptions for 160 yards. And finally, Southern California beat Notre Dame 28-20 as Notre Dame's best effort of season seemed to soothe spat between Coach Terry Brennan and his predecessor Frank Leahy, who had labeled Fighting Irish spiritless during days prior to the game. But when had moral victory ever been satisfying to mighty Fighting Irish? The Trojans saying goodbye to Coach Jess Hill, presenting him with his second best record in 7 years, scored first on a 10-yard touchdown run by quarterback Jim Conroy, and Notre Dame spent much of the day clawing to get within 1 point. Sophomore quarterback Bob Williams sneaked 6 yards in the first quarter to pull within 7-6, but the Williams hit in Bobby Tosca for a 10-yard touchdown in second quarter to reach 14-13 by halftime. Quarterback Paul Hornung, playing halfback because of 2 dislocated thumbs, lasted 95 yards on the kickoff touchdown return to trim the Troy lead to 21-20 late in the third quarter. The halfback Ernie Zampese clinched verdict for Trojans by slipping the right tackle, tearing 38 yards on 4th and 1 to touchdown in the first minute of the fourth quarter. And USC's formidable line allowed only 7 yards rushing in the second half. Now it was Troy's second straight win over the Fighting Irish, first such occurrence since 1938 and 1939. Now here's the final AP poll of the 1956 college football season. Oklahoma was number 1, number 2 Tennessee, number 3 Iowa, number 4 Georgia Tech, number 5 Texas A&M, number 6 Miami, number 7 Michigan, number 8 Syracuse, number 9 Michigan State, number 10 Oregon State, number 11 Baylor, number 12 Minnesota, number 13 Pittsburgh, number 14 Texas Christian, number 15 Ohio State, number 16 Navy, number 17 George Washington, number 18 Southern California, number 19 Clemson, and number 20 Colorado. Now there was one game that stood out on December 8th. This is week 12, December 8th, 1956. I don't know, I guess this was the lone game that was played. But it was an interesting matchup. It was number 6 Miami versus number 13 Pittsburgh. It was about top 15 teams, where number 13 Pittsburgh beat number 6 Miami 14-7 as the Rugged Panthers gained 279 yards and 100 yards more than average permitted by nation's leading defense of previously undefeated Miami. Hurricanes fullback Don Bosler ran sparingly, but got touchdown drive sparked with 25 yards of power burst late in the second quarter. Hit end defensive end Joe Walton, who early caught 46-yard pass, pressured Canes quarterback Sam Scarnecchia, but impromptu lateral was flipped to halfback Joe Peeble that he carried 24 yards behind blocks of guard Tom Pratt and end Don Johnson. Pitt halfback defensive back Ray DePasquale's pass interference penalty in end zone moved ball from its 11-yard line to 2-yard line. Miami quarterback Sam Scarnecchia sneaked over from 1-yard line after the Panthers were whistled for offsides. So Pittsburgh's 2 fullbacks starred in the second half. Ralph Jellick burst for 9 yards and 23 yards runs during 59-yard touchdown drive that followed second half kickoff. Tom Jenkins' 48-yard sweep keynoted winning touchdown march that wore down Hurricanes late in the game. Winning score came from sub quarterback Darrell Lewis. Sneaked with 2:45 on clock. Miami had hoped its probation would have been lifted on second anniversary in October, but its bowl ban was extended by the NCAA. Win in this game would have been crowning glory for the Hurricanes because it would have been the third win over a bowl-bound team, having already blanked TCU and Clemson. So now that concludes the look at the college football season. As far as the regular season is concerned, look at the conference standings. The Ivy League, Yale was first at 7-0, followed by Princeton at 5-2, Dartmouth at 4-3, Pennsylvania at 4-3, Brown at 3-4, Columbia at 2-5, Harvard at 2-5, Cornell at 1-6. Southern Conference had West Virginia at 5-0, Virginia Tech at 5-0, George Washington 5-1, Furman 2-2, Davidson 2-2-1, Virginia Military 2-3-1, Richmond 2-5, the Citadel 1-3, Washington and Lee 0-1, William and Mary 0-5. Big Ten, the Iowa was first 5-1, Michigan at 5-2, Minnesota 5-1-2, Michigan State at 4-2, Ohio State 4-2, Northwestern 3-3-1, Purdue 1-4-2, Illinois 1-4-2, Indiana 1-5, Wisconsin 0-4-3. This is Missouri Valley, Houston at 4-0, Tulsa at 2-1-1, Oklahoma A&M at 2-1-1, Wichita at 1-3, Detroit at 1-4. The Southwest Conference had Texas A&M at 6-0, Texas Christian at 5-1, Baylor at 4-2, Arkansas at 3-3, Southern Methodist 2-4, Rice at 1-5, Texas at 0-6. Skyline 8 had Wyoming at 7-0, Utah at 5-1, Denver at 4-3, Utah State 4-3, Colorado A&M at 2-4-1, New Mexico at 2-4, Brigham Young at 1-5-1, Montana at 1-6. The ACC had Clemson at 4-0-1, Duke at 4-1, South Carolina at 5-2, Maryland at 2-2-1, North Carolina 2-3-1, North Carolina State 2-4, Virginia 1-4, Wake Forest at 1-5-1. Southeastern Conference had Tennessee at 6-0, Georgia Tech at 7-1, Florida at 5-2, Mississippi at 4-2, Auburn at 4-3, Kentucky at 4-4, Tulane 3-3, Vanderbilt 2-5, Mississippi State 2-5, Alabama 2-5, Louisiana State 1-5, Georgia 1-6. The Big Seven: Oklahoma at 6-0, Colorado at 4-1-1, Missouri 3-2-1, Nebraska at 3-3, Kansas at 2-4, Kansas State at 2-4, and Iowa State was winners in the conference at 0-6. The Mid-American Conference had Bowling Green at 5-1-1, Miami, Ohio 4-0-1, Kent State 4-2, Marshall 2-4, Iowa 2-4, Western Michigan 1-4, Toledo at 1-5. Border Conference: Texas Western 5-0, Arizona State 3-1, West Texas State 2-2, Hardin Simmons 1-3, Arizona 1-3, New Mexico A&M 0-4, Pacific Coast, Oregon State 6-1-1, Southern California 5-2, UCLA 5-2, Washington at 4-4, Oregon 3-3-2, Stanford 3-4, Washington State 2-5-1, California 2-5, Idaho 0-4. Now we're going to get into the 1956 bowl games that took place during the 1956 season, the major bowl games. We're going to start with the Gator Bowl on December 29th, with Georgia Tech, number 4 team in the country, played against Pittsburgh. Gator Bowls promoters like previous year's controversial Sugar Bowl matchup so much that rekindled the same North-South rivalry in Jacksonville. Pitt Northerners might have felt at home in Gusty's tricky conditions. Instead, A student and 4-year star quarterback defensive back Wade Mitchell sparkled for Georgia Tech in his last collegiate game. Mitchell was one of 8 Techsters who completed their careers with 4 bowl victories in a row, in addition to killing excellent mix of running passes. Mitchell was superb as usual at safety, making touchdown, throwing tackle at goal line, stealing pass away from Panthers All-American and Joe Walton for pinching interception at Georgia Tech 14-yard line. In final minutes, fullback Ken Owen and Jerry Neighbors, halfback Paul Rotenberry scored engineers touchdowns in building a 14-0 21-7 lead. Big moment came when Pittsburgh answered Owen's early touchdown with 70-yard ground assault that was barred 1 yard short of pay dirt by Old Tech line. Pitt persisted. Quarterback Corny Salvatierra hit halfback Dick Bowen 42-yard touchdown pass in the second quarter and ran over from 4-yard line in the third quarter. So Panthers outdistanced Yellow Jackets 313 yards to 207 yards in total offense, became the first team in last 17 games to score 2 touchdowns against Georgia Tech's defense, nation's best in scoring average at 3.3 points per game. Georgia Tech beat Pittsburgh 21-14 in the Gator Bowl. In the Orange Bowl, Colorado, number 20 team in the country, beat Clemson, number 19 team in the country, by a score of 27-21. Colorado, number 20 team in the country, beat number 19 Clemson 27-21. Colorado ended as second place freak sub for non-repeatable conference champ Oklahoma played Rocky Mountain Ghost Riders in the sky. The Buffalo exploded for 20 points in the second quarter. Two touchdown runs by fullback John Bayard, quarterback Boyd Dowler, and tailback Howard Cook. Dowler's 6-yard keeper came after tailback defensive back Bob Stransky made 36-yard interception return to 10-yard line. Cook's 26-yard sweep right followed in Frank Clark's partially blocked punt. Buffalo's nearly added fourth score, but Cook lost fumble near the goal line. Clemson coach Frank Howard became so distraught during halftime locker room tirade that he threatened to quit on the spot if the Tigers failed to give better second half effort. So Flying Tigers stormed onto the field for halfback Joe Wells' third quarter touchdown runs of 58 yards when fullback Bob Spooner opened fourth quarter with a touchdown run and quarterback kicker Charlie Bussey kicked the point. Clemson suddenly had 21-20 lead. Here kicker Bussey and his enthusiasm made a devastating mistake because he tried a surprise onside kickoff and Buffalo's guard John Wooten recovered to launch Colorado's winning 53-yard drive for the second touchdown run by Bayard, who had 121 yards rushing on 23 carries and 2 touchdowns. Howard later suggested that with Clemson having just taken lead for the first time in the game, Bussey should have kicked the ball into Biscayne Bay. Bison wrapped up verdict when in Jerry Leahy pressured Bussey into another interception by Stransky. Baylor, number 11 team in the country, beat number 2 Tennessee 13-7. As undefeated Tennessee, the nation's number 2 team, seemed sure bet against Baylor, third place finish in the Southwest Conference. But the Bears halfback Bobby Peters provided upset keynote with 52-yard return of opening kickoff, but potential scoring drive unraveled when delay penalty forced the errant field goal. Baylor launched 80-yard march 7 minutes into the second quarter, capped by quarterback Bobby Jones' 12-yard pitch to end Jerry Marcontell on fourth down. Tailback Johnny Majors carried on 8 of 10 plays to score in third quarter, and kicker Sammy Burklow eluded point for 7-6 Volunteers lead. But bruising contest was accented by flipping tempers in third quarter when All-American Majors held to 51 yards rushing on 15 carries, picked off twice on passes, was flung down for loss. In melee that followed, the Bears fullback linebacker Larry Hickman kicked Volunteers guard Bruce Birmingham in the face. Hickman, quickly banished by his Fishers, was highly remorseful afterward. The burner was carried off unconscious, though his injury would prove to be minimal, with him seemed to go Tennessee spirit. Majors' punt fumble at his 15-yard line gave Bears short winning drive in fourth quarter, finalized by quarterback Buddy Humphrey Sneak. Key to victory was Baylor's defense, which held Volunteers to 1 for 10, 16 yards passing, forced 4 interceptions, even though Volunteers had suffered only 6 interceptions all season. Bears provided raising moment when, with 4:45 left, tried fourth down run from their own 41-yard line. Tennessee stopped Baylor's fourth down drive, but was helpless to advance as Major's fourth down pass fell incomplete of that chance. And Danforth, sports editor, writing in Atlanta Journal-Constitution, lamented his pre-game #1 vote for Tennessee. A top-flight team, properly prepared, would have cashed that ticket, but the Volunteers looked confused and uncertain. It was fourth time in Volunteers history that bowl loss had ruined the otherwise perfect season. In the Cotton Bowl, Texas Christian, number 14 team in the country, beat Syracuse, number 18 in the country, 28-27. Magnificent Syracuse halfback Jim Brown swaggered through his last collegiate game, rushing for 132 yards on 26 carries, scoring 3 touchdowns, completing a 20-yard pass, returning kickoffs for a total of 96 yards. Jim Brown succeeded on 3 of 4 conversion kicks, but his third conversion try was blocked by Tucson Pro sub and Chico Mendoza, and it proved to be winning margin. Orangeman Saturnos provided all four Texas Christian scores. Horned Frost quarterback Chuck Curtis struck for two touchdown passes. TCU led 14-0 early in the second quarter, but Orangemen roared back behind Brown to gain 14-14 halftime tie. TCU collared fumbles to start 60 and 69-yard drive, which converted 28-14 lead early in the fourth quarter. Last touchdown came on All-American halfback Jim Swink's 3-yard run, followed by fullback kicker Harold Pollard's fourth conversion. Brown's 41-yard kickoff return made possible his own 4-yard touchdown. With Mendoza block kick with his last arm, TCU led 28-20. TCU led. But with 1:16 left, Syracuse quarterback Chuck Zimmerman hit halfback Jim Ridlin a touchdown pass by Laz for Orangemen. Brown's extra point could pull them only within one, and college football's 2-point conversion rule was still 2 seasons away. Finally, in the Rose Bowl, Iowa, number 3 team in the country, beat number 10 Oregon State. Number 3 Iowa beat number 10 Oregon State in the Rose Bowl 35-19. With UCLA and USC banned by PCC sanctions, Oregon State was left to field bitter arrows of California press, which criticized Beaver's credentials and ultimately its Rose Bowl game performance. This pair of infrequent bowl visitors had met in closely played October game won by Iowa 14-13, but this time Hawkeyes dominated. Before Iowa's dominance, Beavers threatened twice early, each time losing fumble. Quarterback Ken Plowen scored on a 49-yard run after Oregon State's first ball, but twisted his knee before he could help add to Iowa's eventual 14-0 first quarter lead. But in the second half, MVP Plowen returned to display his passing skills, finishing with a 9-for-10, 83-yard touchdown interception in the air, 59 yards rushing on 8 carries and a touchdown on the ground. But after the initial Iowa burst, teams began traded scores with Hawkeyes halfback Collins Mike Hagler scoring twice. Hagler made 9-yard run in the first quarter, nifty 66-yard reverse in the third quarter as Plowen handed to halfback Don Dobrino going right, with Hagler taking inside handoff to the left side behind pulling lineman. Now tailback Joe Francis did his best to make Beavers competitive by rushing 73 yards for 15 carries, passing 10 for 12, 130 yards, touchdown including 35-yard touchdown to wingback Sterling Hammock in fourth quarter. Now Hawks defensive stars was in Frank Gilliam and tackled Alex Carriage, each blocked extra point kick. Iowa won stat battle 408 yards to 296 yards, and Hawkeyes players dedicated their victory to 1955 All-American guard Calvin Jones, who perished in a Canadian plane crash several weeks before the Rose Bowl. Iowa coach Forrest Evashevsky said his team was more explosive this game than most of the season. So that concludes a look at the bowl games that took place during the 1956 season. Now look at the 1956 top performance formula. Oklahoma was number 1. Top opponents records for 1956 was Texas Tech at number 1. The best, here's the 1956 out of conference records. Big Ten had the best record at 19-5, 1-0 in the bowl. Southeastern Conference had a 23-10-2 record, 1-1 in the bowl. Southwest Conference had a 29-1 record, 2-0 in the bowl. Pacific Conference had 15 wins and 10 losses, 0-1 in the bowl. Big 7, 12-14-1, 1-0 in the bowl. And last but not least, Atlantic Coast Conference had 7, 20-4, 0-1 in the bowl. Look at the nation's rushing yards leaders. Jim Crawford led the nation in rushing with 1,104 yards. Passing yards, John Brody was number 1 with 1,633 yards. The best receiving yards was Bill Steiger of Washington State, 607 yards. Look at the All-American team. Consists of All-American team for 1956. In Joe Walton of Pittsburgh, Ron Kramer of Michigan. The tackles, John Witt, Oregon State, Lou Michaels, Kentucky. Guard Jim Parker, Ohio State. Bill Glass of Baylor. Center Jerry Tubbs, Oklahoma. In the backfield was John Brody of Stanford. Jim Brown of Syracuse, Johnny Majors of Tennessee, and Tommy McDonald of Oklahoma. The other All-American choices was at the end position was Buddy Cruz of Tennessee, Bill Steiger of Washington State. The tackles were Alex Karras of Iowa, Charlie Kruger of Texas A&M, Edmund Gary, Oklahoma, Paul Wiggin, Stanford, Norman Hamilton, Texas Christian, and Bob Hobart, Minnesota guard, Sam Valentine, Penn State, and John Barrow, Florida. Center Don Stevenson, Georgia Tech. The backfield was Paul Hornung of Notre Dame, Don Boston of Miami, Jim Crawford, Wyoming, Billy Ray Barnes, Wake Forest, and Jack Pardee, Texas A&M. The Heisman Trophy winner went to Paul Hornung. He had 1,066 votes. The senior quarterback of Notre Dame. Johnny Majors was the senior tailback of Tennessee was 994. Tommy McDonald, senior halfback of Oklahoma, 973 votes. Jerry Tubbs, senior center Oklahoma, 724, and Jimmy Brown, senior halfback of Syracuse, 561. Other major awards was Maxwell player Tommy McDonald, senior halfback Oklahoma, Outland lineman Jim Parker, senior guard Ohio State. Walter Camp award went to Paul Hornung. Newt Rodney award went to Jerry Tubbs. And the AFCA Coach of the Year was Bowden White of Tennessee. So that concludes a look at 1956 season as a whole. I concluded the season. Hopefully you enjoyed everything that I talked about during the 1956 season. That concludes that. So tomorrow I'll be starting the 1957 regular season and the overview and go over week 1. So subscribe, like, comment, do what you can to support the channel and this part series in general. This is the conclusion of this video, the week that was college football's history in review, the 1956 college football season. Until then, talk to you tomorrow.